Hey there, everyone. This is Celeste with another Zelda podcast, and I'm going to show off my Legend of Zelda Link to the Past comic. Now, a few of you may have a copy yourself. Maybe the cover looks a little different. This is the back, and I love telling the story about this comic. So when I was about 8 or 9 years old, I was at Walmart with my mom. Now, this wasn't a Walmart Supercenter. It wasn't a neighborhood market. It was an OG Walmart. And we were passing by the electronics section. And in the middle of the aisle, before we walked into the actual electronics department, there were these boxes. And on top of one of the boxes was this comic. And I don't know if I had even started playing the game at this point, but I think I just was so intrigued by the artwork and, it's a video game. Oh my gosh, I've heard of Zelda, things like that. And I asked my mom if I could have it. And sure enough, she allowed me to get a little gift from Walmart. And I'm very grateful for that. And it's been with me all these years. So let's see. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, story and illustration are by Shotaro Ishinomori, and the copywriter is Dan Austen, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. So at the very bottom, down here, the cover page, they have some information on the Nintendo trademark. So The Legend of Zelda, copyright 1993, Nintendo of America Incorporated, previously published as a comic series in volumes 32 to 43 of Nintendo Power magazine, copyright 1992. And if you go to the very, very end, it has some history of the comic. So the comics in this book originally serialized in Nintendo Power magazine. The first of 12 parts appeared in January 1992, volume 32, and the series ran through December 1992. Although the story loosely follows the plot of the Super Entertainment System game. Oh, they forgot the word Nintendo! The Super Entertainment System game, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, some new twists and characters were added to preserve the elements of surprise and add to the dramatic flow. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. The designer of the comics, Shotaro Ishinomori, is one of Japan's most famous comic book creators. He has received many awards for his work. Among his most popular works in Japan are Cyborg 009, a science fiction adventure, Masked Rider, science fiction, and Hotel, a dramatic series. So I was doing a little bit of research on the author before I filmed this, and he actually passed away in 1998, but he left a huge legacy behind, especially in regards to entertainment. So let's look through some of these pages. I actually bookmarked some notable spots. So it starts with, of course, Link being woken. Okay, look how detailed his house and his uncle's house is right there. And so one of the first things I noticed is that Link speaks. So in the Zelda series, Link usually doesn't speak. And he actually has conversations with people. He thinks out loud. You get to get into his head. So I really enjoyed that. And the expressions on his face remind me of Wind Waker Link. He's a lot more animated. He's pretty funny. Like throughout the comic, there are some things that happens, a little slapstick humor. I really enjoy that. And imagine my surprise when I played A Link to the Past fully as a child, and he's quiet. He's a silent protagonist. Doesn't say too much. So another interesting thing to note is that his uncle actually is seen fighting Aghanim. He walks in on his uncle getting smited, unfortunately, and he assumes the role as, the protector or the next knight. He takes his uncle's shield. He takes his sword. But I thought that was pretty interesting. And so, again, Zelda's communicating telepathically with Link. And so the wanted signs in Kakariko Village. Look at this. Look at this. He looks ridiculous. And in Kakariko Village in the game, if a villager sees Link, he or she will freak out, they'll alert the authorities, or they'll run into their homes. But in this one, it looks like they're willing to help Link. They'll hide him from the soldiers. They seem to be aware that the knights in the castle have been taken over by some kind of dark forces. I also really love how detailed the homes are in this game. Look at Sahasrara's wife's house, or I guess his house too, their house. Just, I don't know, I love things like that, like the little details that are added. So we also learned that Link and his uncle are part of some kind of knight's line. Aghanim talks about that. That's another thing. We get more into Aghanim's mindset, and he's fleshed out more. This is a great comic. If you can get it, I think they might have it on Amazon. It really provides a beautiful look at A Link to the Past. So again, I hadn't really delved into the game too much before I read this comic. So some things that happen in the comic, I fully expected to happen in the game. So, when you find the Book of Medora, it's not a very exciting part in the game. You have to use your Pegasus boots to run into the bookshelf, and the book falls from the top of the bookshelf and you have it. Well, in the comic, look, the library is on fire and Link has to save the librarian who happens to have saved the Book of Medora as well. So all is well. So I kept waiting to find this house on fire, this library on fire when I was playing the game. And another thing, for Link to get to the desert, they give him this thing they call the miracle bird, and he flies to the desert. I thought that was so cool. I wish they could have done those kinds of things in the game. So something else. So at the end of the game, of course, Link's uncle is revived. He's okay. It's a happy ending. And in the comic, Link sees his uncle and his parents, like their apparitions. So again, I fully expected, it's going to be a nice big family reunion in the game. And in the Dark World, in the comic, Link assumes the form of a beast if he allows his negative emotions to take over. But in the game, of course, he's a cute little pink bunny. So it's a lot more sinister. It's a little bit more serious, I find. Would have been cool to play as Beast Link. I guess Twilight Princess takes care of that. We also see the human form of Ganondorf when we're talking, or not we, but when we see Link dozing off and that tree that was once a thief is talking to him. And you might remember that in the Dark World in the game. That tree tells Link about the Triforce and the thieves and Ganondorf and how the tree was originally a thief. So I thought that was pretty cool to see what Ganondorf looked like before he became a pig. So we also learn that the Zoras can be pretty friendly. This Zora helps Link. Again, it's pretty scary looking Zora. But this Zora is also friends with a fairy named Ephramelda, I believe is how her name is pronounced. So, and she also revives Link, so speaking to the healing properties of fairies in the games. So there is also a character who is not in the games named Rom, R-O-A-M. And he is looking to save Princess Zelda. He wants to find these arrows to take out Ganondorf, and his beastly form is this eagle, it looks like. And he's also from some kind of knight's line, but he thinks that he and Link are from a different one. He kind of reminds me a little bit of maybe a more competent Groose character. The second he finds out Princess Zelda's missing, he's like, I'm on it. I don't need your help, Link. I got this. I think we're from two different lines because you seem so immature and you don't have discipline. So again, I thought Rome was going to appear in the video game. There's also something called there's this item that Link can use to communicate to the light world people. It reminds me of the magic mirror and Beauty and the Beast. It's called a comm fork. I don't believe that's ever been in a Zelda game, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that was pretty cool. He can communicate with them and they help him. It's kind of cool, like whatever is happening in the light world, they can mirror into the dark world. I thought that was pretty cool. So if you've watched the Legend of Zelda cartoon series, you might remember, or you may currently recall, the character Sprite, who's a very feisty fairy who seems to be in love with Link. She seems a little jealous of Zelda. I'm assuming that is what inspired Effa because she gets kind of huffy with Link. He keeps talking about needing to save Zelda, and she gets very jealous, which, reading it as an adult, it seems a little strange. Like, okay, well, you're supposed to be helping him. That's the whole mission. That's why he's traveling across all these lands. Some cool dragons, cool dragon fight. Oh, Link also, when he's in a cold climate, he puts on a coat. I like that detail. So it's a really cool look at A Link to the Past. I actually really enjoy the creative liberties. I imagine it would have been difficult to make every aspect of that game flow quite as smoothly without maybe embellishing a little bit. But at the end of the comic, we again see Link's parents and his uncle. They're congratulating him and telling him that Ganon has been sealed in the Dark World. And I think this ending is sweet, where Zelda's saying, I felt so close to you when I was in Ganon's clutches, and now I feel like I can't communicate with you as well, but I'll always remember the time when I was talking with you telepathically. So that's pretty sweet. And the ending talks about how the Master Sword is at rest until a hero is needed again. So if you have this comic, does it have this cover as well? Does it have a different one? Are you interested in the comic? Do you have any of the manga or any other types of comics from the Zelda series? I would love to know. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.